Welcome to the learning portion, and congratulations on making it this far. You will be rewarded greatly by the end of this video with skills that will impress anybody, and you will be looked up to as a god. Alright, let's get to it. We're gonna do the first color change. Some of you guys might already know these color changes, but still a good idea to watch. Maybe there's something that you've missed, or a little subtlety that I've added that you might not have known about. So let's get to it. First, we're gonna start off with the snap change. This is probably the hardest one out of all of these. Well, if you're a beginner, because it's kind of knacky. Basically what you're doing, that's why they call it the snap change, is because you're using your middle finger to kind of do like a snapping movement. And what that does, when you do that snapping movement, it brings that card to the back. So you have to practice this a lot. I think this is a good test in sleight of hand. If you can do the snap change, then you can do a lot of things. So that's why I put this one first. So you use that middle finger to bring the card back like that, and it hides behind this front card now. So to do the snap change, first you need to learn a double lift. If you don't know a double lift, link below on how to learn a double lift. So you have your double lift. What you want to do is you want to catch that break when you turn the card over. I just leave it resting on this part of the thumb right here, and what that does, it kind of creates a natural little break. It looks like that. And what you do with that break is you come down and you cover your middle finger and your, what is this finger called? Your forefinger. So your middle finger and your forefinger are just about covering this section of the pip. This is a good spot to be in. You don't want to cover it too much. You don't want to be over here, or do the crooked one. I've also seen people do like 3 fingers, which is just ridiculous. You want to cover just about the pip, like that. You have to be comfortable. And I've also seen people all the way over here. I don't know, explain that to me. So you do the snap change, just like that. And what I do to cover that action, because if you just simply do the snap change, honestly, it's gonna kind of look like the card is like sinking in. It's gonna look really weird. So what you want to do is you want to have that big movement covering the small action. So what I do is I kind of slam the card down. It's this big, like, quick, sudden movement to cover that, and looks a lot more visual like that. And as you can see, as I'm doing the snap change, I'm also getting rid of this card. So I'm coming down and then boom, just like that. So from behind, looks like that. Do it one more time. Get a good angle of that. Alright, ready. Just like that. So in real speed, just like that. And then you're clean, and that is the snap change. Alright, color change number 2. It's going to be the shake change. Now the shake change, it looks something like that. It looks a lot better when, it's because the angles right now, it's really hard because my hand is covering, but it looks something like that. Basically what you're doing is you're shaking the card, but as you're shaking it, you're turning it over, right? So when you turn the card over, at the same time you're catching that little pinky break. And to catch that pinky break, just push the card forward and then back, And now you have that pinky break. And what that does is when you set the card back down, you have those two cards face to face now, or back to back. And what you do is you grab it by the pips, just like that. And then as you're shaking it, you do this quick movement. It should look like this in real speed, just like that. But with the shaking, it's that big movement covering the small movement, just like that. And you drop the card, clean it up, and you're good. Alright, now we're going to do the last color change, which is my favorite color change, the Erdonase, which looks just like that. Doesn't it look so nice? Alright, so this one is my favorite, but mine looks so good because I put a lot of practice into it. Now, a lot of people's Erdonase usually looks like this. It's like this really blocky movement that they do, and they push the card forward a little bit too much, and then they do this stuff, you know. Mine just looks like this. I just wave my hand over it, and I do that. So I'm going to teach that to you now. So the first step is, of course, a double lift. Once you have those two cards, you're using this part of your hand. I saw someone else teaching it, and you know, they tell you to use like this part or like this part. I use this part right here. And what I do is when I set my hand down, I push it forward just a little bit. So just about a finger's length right there. And that gives me enough space to just pull the card back. And I'm just covering it. Make sure you're fully covering the card and you're not like exposing it. So what you're doing is you're pushing the card forward a little bit. You're pulling that card back. And then you're kind of palming it like that. So you pull back, and now you have the freedom to move your hand around like that. Alright, so now you have your hand freely, and then you come forward and you just square it up. And as I'm squaring it up, I open my hand like that, so that it just looks really nice, just like that. So that's the Erdonase change. Just make sure that your movements are really kind of natural and not like awkward and blocky, and you know, like you have free range. So that's what I want to get to you guys, is that you have the free range to just move your hand and then open it like that whenever you want. So when you come forward with the card and you square it up, you open your hand. So you guys can move around and stuff, but you know, I've seen far too many people do it like this really like blocky type stuff, and then they push the card forward like that, like 6 inches, almost halfway. I don't understand that, man. But that's the Erdonase change. It's really nice, and it can be used for a lot of things. You know, if you have like a blank card, you can use your hand to almost make it look like you're removing the ink, and so many stuff you can do. And I'll teach you guys a few tricks that you can actually do with the Erdonase. Just let me know. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. And remember, practice, and you will be rewarded with godlike powers. Thank you guys so much.